Good evening, and welcome to Being Black and Craft, where we don't apologize for recognizing our influence on craft beer. This is Angie, the Undeniable Vixen. I will be your host, and we're coming to you live, and every Monday, 7 p.m. Central, and we're going to be on YouTube, Being Black and Craft, Instagram, Black and Craft, pay attention to that, and Twitter X, the Undeniable Vixen. So please follow, share, like, and subscribe. But I'm not here alone. I also do have a special guest. Welcome, Lou Belgium. Welcome.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. It's good to see you.
You too. You too.
So I can already hear that lovely sound.
I
So tell me
couldn't wait.
what you're drinking.
So I love if anybody hears I'm on a podcast. If anybody doesn't know who I am, my name is Lou Belgium. I'm on a podcast called Bruising Banter Podcast with two other brothers, Rob and Yoda. And I love Secret Machine. We always talk about this beer. It's out of Dewey Beer, which is a local beer for me. They always make different flavored sour smoothie fruit beers. This is called Pontoon Punch. I don't know what a pontoon is, but it has flavors of pineapple, cherry, coconut, and guava. It looks like this in the glass. That's a Bruising Banter taster glass for everybody out there. And it's
That's
delicious.
merch.
Yeah, right. Absolutely. But it's delicious. In the vein of the podcast, pass me another, Angie.
Very nice.
What you drinking?
So, I worked a double this weekend, and I've gone over back to the beer side because liquor side was not doing a whole lot of work. So I work for a company that also their brand is Molson Coors. Don't say that 3 times because some people get all crazy about it, but it's Molson Coors, sorry. And this is Chilada.
Mm.
So this is a new brand that's new to North Texas. They're actually being it's being brewed in Granbury, the same place where Revolver Blood and Honey. People love Blood and Honey. So same brewery in Granbury, Texas, kind of out there in the sticks. But this is with lime and sea salt. And this is one of the beers that I really did like when I tried it. And it got a lot of buzz. Cruz Blanca. You're going to see Mexican Calling. No, I'm sorry, not Mexican. I'm sorry, Mexico Calling, which is a light Mexican lager that if you're at your sports bars, they'll be there. But I'm in my nice 17% drip. Shout out to Sean.
Yeah, what's up, Sean?
So cheers.
That's just sea salt and lime and it's in a lager style.
Yes.
Oh man, you gotta mix that with tequila, right?
Maybe.
No?
Maybe.
That sounds like a no.
I guess I could. No, because of the subject matter that we're going to be talking about, I did bring some liquor, but I didn't think about tequila because I wanted to be, kind of stay above board.
Yes.
So, but yes.
I think
other world, yes.
I think a beer cocktail with tequila and that would be really nice. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be great. So, what I wanted to go ahead and wish everyone who a post Happy Mother's Day.
Yes, Happy Mother's Day to the mothers.
Yes, fur mothers as well, because I too am a mother.
I said mothers. Yes.
I'm talking to the audience.
Yeah, and everybody who calls themselves a mother can be a mother on Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day, guys.
Yes. So. But before that, we're going to go ahead and get into some beer news. So, first off, May is uh, Mental Health Awareness Month, which is why Lou is here. We're going to have a discussion in a little bit. But this is the time that we raise awareness to reduce the stigma of seeking and receiving behavioral help. We still think people are crazy to go and see a therapist. And we'll talk about this in detail a little bit later on, but that's not the case. It's a better way to understand and to get help. Now, one thing that me and Lou had talked about, because I was wanting to do BIPOC mental health awareness month, but that's all the way in July, and I wanted to go ahead and highlight it because I think people think about it more during this month. And
Yeah,
just
I didn't even know. I thought it was just May
yeah,
until you told me about it.
it's two. So
Hmm.
B.B. Moore Campbell, I'm not sure if you're familiar with that author,
Hmm.
a Black author. She kind of highlighted in two books that she wrote. One was Sometimes Mommy Gets Angry, and then another one called The 72-Hour Hold, that kind of talks about mental health, the impact on racism, mental health, and enduring strength and culture and the community and the connections. So she went ahead and was a big advocate for it
Hmm.
and made a foundation.
Okay.
Let me read one of her quotes. So, once my loved ones accepted the diagnosis, healing began for the entire family, but it took too long. It took years. Can't we, as a nation, begin to speed up the process? We need a national campaign to destigmatize mental illness, especially one targeted towards African Americans. It's not shameful to have a mental illness. Get treatment, recovery is possible. And she said that in 2005.
Yes.
So let's go ahead and get into some beer news. I'm not sure if you've seen this like I do. Usually I scroll through Instagram, mind my business, loving Jesus like I do.
You gotta trademark that. That's dope. I like that.
So I saw that Brewdog's, I guess the chief executive officer, James Watt, stepped down.
Mm.
And so, amidst of rumblings and accusations of harassment or harassment and
Mm.
inequality, um, have kind of been a big focus on them. So maybe this will kind of help, uh, kind of change and help BrewDog survive with the curveball, because basically, everybody, big big box breweries as well as small, are dealing with low sales.
Mm.
So I think maybe this is maybe in the right step to getting some healing if they're doing some PR, or is it too little too late? Don't really know.
Right.
Um, but there's a great article on The Guardian that talks about that. And even if you Google um, his name or Brewdog, you can find some more articles that can give you a better assessment of your own personal view, how you take that.
Hmm.
Now, Lou, I need you to get out your calendar because there's a lot of shit going on.
Listen, you ain't never lie.
We're going to be outside for real.
Yeah, get your portable air conditioning. Bring your fans. It's gonna be a hot summer, a hot and busy summer.
So this week, actually today's the 13th.
Yes.
Yes. Today kicks off American Craft Beer Week. So cheers to that. So it's from the 13th through the 19th.
Hmm.
And then apparently on the 18th, Georgia Craft Brewers Festival is on May 18th.
Mm.
Then we go into June. June
Hold on,
6th.
hold on.
What?
On the 18th,
Ooh.
Asheville, North Carolina is having like a craft beer. I think it's a week. It goes with the week, but I know the 18th is a big event going to be going on in Asheville, North Carolina as well.
Okay.
We
Then
had
they have the beer
Karis on
week.
a couple. Yeah, yeah. We had Karis on a couple weeks ago, and she was talking about Asheville Beer Week. So
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
we're going
I
to
love
be
Asheville.
in Maple Shade, New Jersey for Beer Fest on May 18th as well. So That's three
Okay.
things just on the just
And
on 18.
and and just tell people where you are.
Oh,
Um,
I'm in Delaware, local to Delaware. So it's close to Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Maryland. Delaware is right in the middle.
so you might be able, who knows? Somebody might get grab this and say, "Oh, I might see if I can grab a beer with Lou and the
Come
fellas."
on through. Come on through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then we have June 16th, Blacker the Berry release for the Culture up in Houston
Hmm.
with For the Culture Brewery and Draught Season out of Georgia. They did
Okay.
a collab, so they're going back to do the release on June
Nice.
16th. Then we have our annual Crafted for Action Craft Beer Conference, June 19th through the 22nd.
Yes. Yes.
I will be I'll have my Lifting Lucy hat on, doing a panel along with one of the co founders, Ashley Randolph of Lifting Lucy. It's going to be called Crafting Life's Perfect Brew, prioritizing, invest, delegate, and establish boundaries for a balanced existence. And that's going to be on that Friday of that week, one of the last panels.
What is the week of Crafted for Action?
It's going to be June 19th through the 22nd.
Okay.
So it kicks off right there on Juneteenth, and they have
Hmm.
several different things going on. Make sure that you check their IGs because they have different packages. But if you don't do anything at all, go to that beer dinner. It's well worth the money, and it is an experience that I can't describe other than it's just your history buffness, you get all that richness, and then they're pairing it with food and beer. You are on a
Yes.
complete journey, a complete journey.
Now you
And
tell. Did you say where that's going to be at?
and that's going to be in ATL, my second home, Atlanta. Uh, third to New Orleans, where I have family. Oh, and Ashley mentioned pontoons are little party boats.
Okay. Oh, thank you. Pontoon punch. Party boat punch. This is
Yes.
party boat punch, guys. Pontoon. Who knew? Thank you, Ashley.
Then in Chicago, Moore's Brewing or Moore's Beer, they're doing two events. They're having the Emancipation Ball on June 18th. And that sounds like a really cool thing to do. And tickets start at $100. And then they also are going to have a day part. I found this through Drought Season there because they're doing like a tour around the world. Drought Season, they're going to Moore's Brewing, their day party on the 23rd. No, Drought Season they have a whole, they going to be outside for real. They have a whole tour going on. I
Yeah.
was like, let me
Yeah.
pick some of these things up because you never know. Might need to drop in somewhere.
Yeah. You may pop up.
I mean, because I was gonna do Soul Mega, but I found out unfortunately Soul Mega won't be doing it until their event until 2025. They're gonna move it till next year. So that
Oh,
gives
they
me
okay. Okay.
so that we move that. And
Give you
then
some time.
also
Yeah.
and Mac his Juneteenth celebration that he usually has, he postponed it for this year. So so
Okay.
that's
Okay.
a bummer in that, but bigger and better.
Yeah.
That's
So
what I
Max was out of Philly, and Soul Mega's event is in DC. Just in case
correct.
people didn't know.
Yes. Thank you. And
You're
let's
welcome. That's
see.
what I'm here for, right?
Yes, because I'm think about 50 different ways. And
You do.
Pink Boots Society is going to have their conference on June 24th through the 26th. And I'm going to be speaking on two panels during that conference. And now, one thing that's really cool, they're going to have day passes. So if you can't make it to the full conference, and you can say, "Hey, I can come on this day during this time," you can get a day pass to do that, and you just go to the website
Nice.
to get that information. Of course,
Okay.
everybody knows about Barrel and Flow, August 8th through the 10th. Great American Beer Festival is October 10th through the 12th, which is also October 10th is National Black Brewers Day that we're trying to get in different cities. So that date is really significant because Oak Park Brewery, Cali's Black Beer Festival is on 10th through the 13th. So I have a dilemma because I want to do both.
Yeah, that's a lot. What you gonna do? You can't clone yourself. Where you gonna go?
I, 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 I you know, I want to be. I want to be. I want to be where the black people are.
Oakland it is.
Yeah,
Oakland it
so
is.
that's what it looks like it's gonna be. So that's all my beer news. Beer news is done. I think you have any other news?
Nah, you said it. You got it.
All
Those
right.
all my news.
All right. So the thing that we came for, mental health. Let's see, how can we start this? What I guess my first question would be, and of course, we're gonna ask each other questions. Um, when did you first decide that you felt like, you know what, I think I need to talk to somebody?
It's stages from me. I had a weird childhood growing up, and my mother asked me when I was 13 if I wanted to go to see a therapist.
Mm,
And unfortunately, at 13, I thought I was a man and I was making my own decisions. Nobody could tell me what to do. So my mama asked me, and I said no. And in hindsight, I wish she would have forced me to go, but I didn't go then. And then around 20 in college, I had a little break, mental break. And one of my fraternity brothers introduced me to therapy, and he introduced me to his therapist on campus. So
mm,
the end of my sophomore year, I started going to therapy, and I did that through the last 2 to 3 years of college. But then I stopped. Once therapy was over in college, I stopped. And the next big thing was I was going through a divorce, and everything that I thought was a support system for me was not supportive and was not a support system like I assumed it would be. And the only person, or the only thought that I had for help was to go to therapy. The first couple times was really, really bad. The therapist wasn't helpful at all.
mm,
But I didn't have a choice but to try to find a new one. And I was really grateful because I had a really bad experience with that first therapist after the second session. And I called my insurance company, and they had a line, and they connected me right to that therapy line. And that lady talked me off of that particular edge that I was on and encouraged me to find a
mm.
new doctor, and that all doctors are different, and that doctor just wasn't for me, and that I would be able to find a new one. So I would say therapy really became a big part of my life in 2019, 2020, right when my divorce started.
Can Let me just back up. Do you do you know now why your mom thought that you needed therapy? That you
I
needed to
was,
talk to someone?
yeah, I was having mental breaks as a child. Like
Hmm.
I, I put a lot on myself as a young man. I started working when I was 10 years old, and not legally,
Mm,
but I was putting, in my mind, putting food on the table and putting clothes on my back and helping my mother with my sister, and
mm,
taking on fatherly and manly duties that I wasn't ready for.
yeah.
And she saw that, and saw that I was kind of screaming and needing somebody for guidance and some help that she couldn't give me. And she offered that experience, but she wasn't going to therapy. And when I told her no, she didn't have anything. This is us having a conversation as an adult. When I told her no, she was like, "What can I say to you? You, I wasn't gone. It wasn't anything that I had background in. I had just heard from a
Mm,
friend that maybe you could benefit from it. But once you said no, that was the end of it. So that was the end of it. But yeah, in
mm.
hindsight, I wish she would have drugged me to go back then, because it's been so beneficial. And one of the things that I needed to get over was the fact that I didn't go. When I first started going consistently as an adult, I had to get over the fact that I didn't go as a child. And I had to forgive myself for the 30 years and 20 years that I missed of
Mm.
getting the help that I needed.
Yeah, I'm trying to think consistently. it was when I was an adult again, and almost in the same, not close, but in the same vein. Um, my dad's therapist wanted us to have a group session, but by that time, because I left home at 17,
Mm.
um, I was like, I gotta get out of here.
Right.
And they wanted to have a family, and I was like, no, the damage is done.
Hmm.
Ain't no coming back from this. Just it's whatever now.
But that's
Uh,
what a person that's not in therapy says. The damage is done. It is
yeah.
done. But what can we do to repair this damage if we want to be able to just communicate with each other and be a semblance of family again?
Well, also I felt it would be lip service
Mm.
because I knew that my dad wasn't changing. He ain't changed now.
This is true. Yeah, this is true.
He's still the
So,
same.
so how was your dad going to therapy, but it's not helping him? What did you see the point of it was for him?
I don't
So, was the point of it for him to get you in there? Do you think that
no
that's the grand scheme of things? Because it got you to go.
no
Now you so you it didn't.
no it
Mm, okay.
my reasoning for going to therapy was because I was completely undone.
Mm,
I had I would have horrific nightmares, horrible nightmares. Like I would tell my coworkers, because I was um having dreams, and they were very graphic, like
mm,
blood and guts. I mean, tape. It's just like I'm seeing it like in real 4K,
mm-hmm,
and I'm like, I don't know what's going on. And it was mostly because in black families, you don't say what goes on inside the house.
mm-hmm.
You Whatever happens in the house stays in the
It
house.
stays there, right?
You do not say anything about it. And it was eating me from the inside. And that's how it was coming out, um, in these horrible dreams. That's why us having this discussion is therapy for me, because I'm
Yeah,
able to talk about it,
yeah,
because that
absolutely.
allows me not to have these nightmares, because they'll still pop up, because I'm not vocal.
Mm-hmm,
I'm an only child, so pretty much kind of contained to myself,
mm-hmm,
and not really having a whole lot of conversation. I really didn't have to talk, and people say that I'm spoiled, but I didn't have to talk. My mother would talk for me. I didn't have to.
mm-hmm,
She's like, oh, she doesn't want this, she wants that. So I never had to have all this conversation, and then I didn't um, voice like, uh, you know, talk back to your parents, not even necessarily talking back, but just voicing your opinion. You didn't
mm-hmm.
do.
Right.
So it started coming out in weird spaces, and it was scaring me. I was scared to go to sleep. And that's when I decided to do therapy. Um, I'm trying to think of the first type of therapy I it was um it was aggressive. It was like an aggressive kind of therapy where basically she would put, almost not hypnotizing, but it's a type of therapy that they do that you are kind of in a sedated kind of state,
Mm-hmm.
and trying to pull out whatever this trauma is, because
Yeah. It
it's
puts you
like,
back. It puts you back into the state where the trauma occurred.
yes, because
Mm-hmm.
I still
Mm-hmm.
don't know.
Yeah.
I still don't
Wow.
know.
How long has it been since you started going to therapy
Mm,
for the nightmares?
I'm gonna say at least 5 to 7 years.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It goes dormant, um, and I still didn't. And again, like with your therapist saying that she wasn't the right one, even though I have good insurance, I couldn't. The person that I found, she wasn't covered.
Wow.
And I was like, I have this amazing insurance. I work in the telecommunications industry. I've been working there for over 25 years. I have really good insurance, and the fact that it was like, oh, it's not covered, it just blew me away.
Yeah.
So I had to do the same kind of scenario, even with me calling that number, like you called the number, made him, because I told him what the issue was. The person I found, I can't go to her because she's
Hmm.
it's like exorbitant. In hindsight, I was like, you know what, I should have went ahead and paid the five,
Right.
because I called and they matched me with somebody. I took off. I'm
Mm.
sitting in Starbucks because I'm gonna be early, and say, hey, yeah, the person that you found, yeah, they're not compatible with your insurance. I was like, you know what, forget it. So I went back into the hole.
Yeah.
Went back into the hole of depression,
Hmm.
of just not tired. Can't go to work. Cannot go to
Yep.
work because
Yep.
I've been fighting, running, shotgun to my throat, all kinds of crazy stuff.
Hmm.
And so I was like, okay, I'm gonna try this one more time. I'm gonna try this one more time. Um, and that's what made me lead to finding someone, and also talking to coworkers, because
Okay.
everybody's dealing with something.
Yeah. That's what I realized in therapy. It's like people don't talk about their problems out loud. So you think people are always smiling, and it's not. Like everybody going through something, and they may look at your issues and be like, dang, I wish I had that person's issues rather than my own. But nobody is out here infallible. Like everybody is walking around with some type of trauma that they're dealing with, and they deal with it in their own way. Sometimes it's good and sometimes it's bad. But therapy made me hit me to that real quick. Like you're not the only one. Like get out of your own head and thinking that you abnormal in that way. Like trauma feels like it's normal. Like everybody has a piece of it.
It's I
It
don't
all
know.
manifests differently too.
They make and I don't want everybody's trauma is different, but
Yes,
it
absolutely.
almost seems like in my head, as far as like getting out of it, it seems like it's a warm blanket because that's what you're used to. You don't know any better to try to
Hmm.
get out of. It's like it's 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 squeezing me like a boa constrictor, but
Oh,
it's warm.
yes, Angie. Guess what my favorite emotion is? Anger. I used to love just being angry. Like it'd be a happy moment, and I would figure out a way to be angry because that was comfort. Like being
Mm.
angry was a comfort emotion. As bad as that sounds, it was a really bad time in my life. But I was like, oh, we just celebrating somebody's birthday. Let me get mad at that. Oh, we gonna go to this Christmas party. Let me get mad and angry at that. I'll be happy then.
So so you would get angry, so you wouldn't have to go, so you didn't have to be bothered.
Just so it was just like a coping mechanism. Like I wouldn't even get angry and lash out. I would just be angry internally, just
Mm.
because it was a comfort. Like happiness wasn't a comfort. Being sad for what? Like being having joy in my heart? Like no. Like I'm gonna take all these emotions that are positive and negative, and instead of expressing myself in that emotion, I'm gonna just make internalize it as anger and just be angry. And it took me so long to realize that that's what I was doing, and I never realized it until a professional came around. Because to sidebar this thing, we spend so much time, like you said, it's such a a stigma in our community. We spend so much time talking to our friends. Our friends don't have no psychology degree. Our friends don't have no degree to help us. Like we can vent to them all we want, but to get the answers that we need to process what we're going through, you need to talk to a professional to do that. It's not enough black professionals in the industry, so they're hard to come by. Me personally, I have only had good experiences with black women for therapists.
Mm-hmm.
I've had a white man, I've had a black man, and they weren't for me. I'm not saying that they are not for anybody. Like I'm sure that they do good work with other patients. It's just always been a black woman that's been able to help me. I've had two different ones, and they both have been the best two that I've had. I currently have a black lady therapist right now, but I think the stigma of it all makes us not want to go and not want to do the things that we have to do, and we rely on our friends to a detriment to us. And by the time we're so into our depression or into whatever emotion that we need to talk about, our friends can't help us. And then we'll
Mhm.
get mad at them for not giving us the answers that because we're being vulnerable to them. We're telling them what our problems are, but it's not helping anymore. Like we keep coming back, and once you keep going to your friend and you're getting frustrated with them because they're not giving you the answers, you need to call your insurance company or call a therapist and get a professional's help because it can ruin relationships, and it's not the friend's fault.
Yeah,
It's Go ahead.
it's like you're dumping on them,
Right, right.
and they can't do anything. I mean, I can listen,
Mm-hmm.
but if you keep on coming back and you telling me the same thing, uh,
Yeah. What
I
you going
can't.
and then as a friend who doesn't go to therapy, what can you tell them
Let's go
besides
to Amber
besides
Alley.
first, right? And then let's drown the sorrows. But what we do with different hobbies or drugs or addictions is we just mask the problem for a second. So yeah, you can have a hobby, but your hobby's not going to get over your problem. Like you have to face your problem. You have to face those fears. You have to control what you can control, and the only thing you can truly control is yourself. So once you realize that that's what you can control, face those fears. Go out garden, go out and bungee jump, do all the hobbies you want to do. But at the end
Mhm.
of the day, you have to come and face whatever problem that you're having, and you have to get over that without the hobby, without bungee jumping or doing whatever else. You gotta hit it head on. That's basically what therapy told me. Like you are by yourself in this. Like you have support, but you're the one that has to figure out how to get out of your head and to not mask your problems forever because they're always just there. It's so everybody has problems. Everybody's going to consistently have problems. Once you get done a problem, another problem arises, whether it's bigger than the last one or smaller. But if you got through the last one, you can get through the next one. And as long as we're alive, we're going to have problems to get through. That's what part of what this life is about is figuring out yourself and learning from the mistakes and issues that you have.
Yeah, that's really important.
I agree.
That's you know, one thing that you mentioned, I want to make sure that I reiterated as far as your therapist. The first one, the second one, sometimes even the third one may not be the right click for you,
Absolutely.
but keep on trying. You will find that one that's going to click for you, and you have a sheet. You know, just like we search out for doctors or whatever.
Yes.
Have a sheet of some things that you want to ask them. They're trying to interview for your to
Yeah.
give you that service.
Yeah.
You want to be comfortable with them. I too have well, I have a therapist and I have a psychiatrist.
Okay.
So my psychiatrist, she is wonderful. She she's just like, now what? Uh-uh.
Yep. Yep.
And she's like, because sometimes you think, is it me? Because sometimes it is me, but
Yep.
sometimes it's like, no, Angie, no, that's not right. That just does not fly.
Mm-hmm.
Especially with the dynamic of my family dynamic, and she's like, what? That don't that does not go right. No, that's not right. That's not
Yep.
right. And um with me, like again, I guess I'll keep on beating this drum. I'm an only child,
Mm-hmm.
and I just went over to my parents' house yesterday, and they're getting old, and they like to tell me that they're getting old, and and that I need to know where these, these different things we have stuff here, we have stuff there, and we've started that process.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that I need to know these things, but
Yes.
it is a bit morbid.
No, so you can't think like that, Angie, because
It
it's I
can.
understand what you're saying, but death is just a process of life. Like
I know.
everybody's living to die. And it's something that when your parents, God forbid they die, you know what I mean? But it's gonna happen. And they want you to be ready for when it happens. And that's one of the most important older parent things to do is to make sure your grown kids are prepared for your death. My speaking of the divorce earlier, my me and my ex-wife are good friends now. We gotten through it, and 5 years later we're really good friends. We co-parent great. Her father passed away a couple of weeks ago, and
Mm,
he was going through some things when he passed away, so he didn't have all of his paperwork in order. And to see her family fight, to see her struck, she's his only surviving child. He had four kids, and she's the only one that he has left. And to see people come at her in such a negative way when
mm,
she's like, I'm the only one left. Like, why are y'all? And her dad had a little bit of money, and like so many people are just, I don't know this person. She don't know this. They coming out the woodwork asking for money and handouts, and so and I say
mm.
that to say, if her dad would have had his ducks in order, like your parents are trying to do for you, it wouldn't have been nobody's fighting. You could fight all you want. You could be mad all you want, but you're not gonna fight with me. Here's a paper. This will says what it's going to be. This insurance claim says what it's going to be. So I hear what you're saying. It's morbid, but more. I don't know if morbidity is a word, but being morbid is a part of life. Like you have to deal with it,
It makes
and
me
it's
think
health.
about
It's
my
a health.
own. It makes me think about my own mortality.
Yes.
So
Yeah,
that's why
you're mortal, but you're mortal. You're mortal. We doing this podcast and it's gonna be in the ether forever. But we not. We not.
I
Let's
want to
just
get
be
my
you
five.
got
I want my 5G power so I live forever.
listen, go get it if it's available, but that shit is not available to us. Like it may be our tax bracket, it ain't
Right.
available to us. So until it becomes available, until we can get the iPhones. I want a lifetime iPhone too, but I'm like right now, no. This thing lasts 80 years if we have 80 years if we good, 100 if we lucky.
Yeah.
But I'm just trying to see my children graduate. I'm just trying to see my children as adults. Like that's the goal.
Mhm.
That's the goal for me as a parent. Like I just want to see them, and I want to be able to not work and run around and do shit.
Right.
I want to live my own happiness on my terms. But I don't have to wait for that. I could do that right now. Like that's part of what we're talking about, like being in the moment and living in every moment. Like today, we're having this conversation. There ain't no other place that I could be. So I'm gonna be here and give as much as I can to this particular moment because you're never gonna get the moment again.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
that's morbidity, whatever.
But it's just like, you know, having that conversation with them
Hmm.
and like, okay, I get it. Um, we need to be more, be over there more. But the thing is that that's also a boundary for me going over to my parents' house
Okay.
sometimes.
How so?
Because my because it was Mother's Day and it felt like I got a lecture.
Mm,
He likes to lecture. He likes to tell me things, and um, and it's like, okay, I get it, I get it. It was okay. It was okay. Um, you know, usually what I when I go over to my parents' house, I usually tell a friend like, or if I've had my therapist like, hey, I'm going over there to today because sometimes it'll be a trigger and I'll
hmm
come home and
hmm
have a nightmare,
Okay.
and so that's why I was like, I'm trying to make sure that I'm okay because
Most
there will be
important.
things that'll trigger me being over
Hmm.
there with my parents that'll make me like, oof.
Yeah.
So
But as much as you love them, as much as they want you in their space, you're your own person, and you got to control yourself. If you
mhm,
like, I'm not telling you to stop going over there. I want you to go over there even more. But some days you can't go. Some days you
yeah,
just can't go, and it can be a special occasion, and you still can't make it. Like because the most important person in the scenario always is you, and what you do may hurt other people's feelings, if you're not intentional about hurting their feelings, it don't matter. Like
It,
you're not saying no, you're not saying I'm not coming to my parents' house to hurt them. You're saying I'm not going to my parents' house to help you. And if that's the scenario, you're the most important person in your life. Everybody else got to take it.
that sounds good. Look,
It does. It's
it
hard to
sounds,
do. It's not.
it
I'm not.
sounds,
Look. I ain't telling you to do it tomorrow. I'm telling you, like that's the goal, right? Like the goal is to be in control of yourself, and the goal is to take care of yourself and everybody else second. You're the number one person in your life. You have to be. Anybody that's listening to me, if you say that your kids are number one, or if you say that your husband or your wife is number one, bullshit. Like you number one, be selfish. You're the number one person in your life. If you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of your family or your loved ones or your friends. You can't be there for them. You have to take care of yourself first. If something you're going to go into, you know it's going to trigger you, sometimes you could say no to that. And it is as hard as it will be, it's better for you. You may sleep better. Like literally for you, Angie, you may sleep better if you decide to say no once or twice. I'm not
so
telling you to do it. I'm telling you it's an option. I don't
so
know your like. I don't know your family style. I don't know your family lifestyle. You may get
so
crucified if
I,
you don't go to the house. But
so
I'm. Go ahead.
let me give you an example.
Go ahead.
My birthday last year,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it'll be a year now. I went over there, um, and I was accosted because, and it was my birthday. It was that day was literally my birthday.
Right.
I was gonna go there early, but uh, they were out and about. They were doing their thing. They do their old thing. They go to Home Depot. They go and do whatever. Go to the grocery store to do this. So okay, so because they're like 45 minutes away from me,
Okay.
one way.
Mm.
And I'm like, okay, well, I'll just chill. So that kind of puts the plans that I had, which I really didn't have any plans at first, but somebody's like, you should at least go out to dinner on your birthday, at the very least.
Mm-hmm.
I said, okay. So I was going to go out to eat with a girlfriend. So I'm pushing it. So when I get over there, I'm like, why you coming over here now? What's, you didn't know if we had something for you. I was like, I called, but I got just boom, 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 boom. I,
Mm-hmm.
I just got bam, 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 bam. And I just said, not on my birthday.
Right.
Today is my birthday.
Right.
And I said, absolutely not.
Mm-hmm.
I've never said anything. That's that's one reason why I have the name is because I never say anything, regardless if it's right, wrong, or indifferent. I
Yeah.
never say anything. And that was the first time I ever said anything. My dad didn't talk. He didn't start talking to me until about March of this year.
Mm-mm. That ain't your.
But
That's not.
it's nothing. It's nothing that I can do about that
It's
because I
not
know that I didn't do anything
nothing.
wrong.
Nothing.
I know that I didn't do anything wrong. But did that help
And
me sleep? No.
no.
But did it frustrate the hell out of me? Yes.
But parents always put this unholy worship shit on their grown children, on their young children for that matter. Like, it's my birthday. If anything, y'all should be remembering the day that I was born. Y'all were together. Y'all the only two people that can actually share this day with me the way that it should be shared. Don't holler at me on my birthday.
And I'm
But
right.
that's the thing.
I like
You
my
said this,
birthday.
but you said this early in in the conversation that we're having. You said my parents were always don't talk to me no type of way, and they
Right.
thinking you two as a grown woman don't talk to. But it's
Still,
but
yes.
the disrespect is the disrespect. If you disrespecting me as a grown person, if you disrespecting me as a child, I can't say anything because I'm in your house. I'm not in your house anymore. Don't disrespect me. Learn how to talk to me. And parents have to learn how to talk to their children differently because I was your protector and now you're 30 years old. I don't. They don't need you to protect them. They still need you as a child, as their children, but they don't need you the same way they needed you when they were 10. So they have to grow too, and they have to realize that. And sometimes kids have to check their parents. Not no young kids, but if you're an adult, we have to now talk like adults. We could have a conversation about different things that adults have conversations about. And if it's my birthday, I'm talking about just me, not you, Angie. If it's my birthday and my mom and dad are going to be around for my birthday, y'all going to do what I want to do, how I want to do it, what time I want to do it. And if you don't, y'all can go kick rocks over there. Talk about my birthday together over there. Y'all not going to ruin my day. Don't let them ruin your day.
I was
That,
like,
but
I
it's
said, I said,
what
I
can you
said, I
control?
told you not.
What can you control?
I told
You can control everything that you do. That's it. Your daddy don't want to talk to you for 6, 8 months. Daddy, you missing out on this goodness. That's your daughter. That's that's on him. Unfortunately.
and Lou, honestly, I can't peg it, but I really feel like because I'm single and I'm
Mm,
and that I don't have any children,
that they still treat you like you're a child.
they still see me as a child.
Now, that's a grown woman walking through this door every time. It's a grown woman walking through this door. You not having a husband, you not having children. Don't disrespect my adulthood. I'm living my adulthood a lot differently than you lived it, than you lived yours. Why don't you give me a brother or a sister, mom and dad? I didn't want to be an only child, maybe. Y'all made that decision. Now I made the decision to be who I am today. Respect me. Everybody gotta respect you. And just because they your parents and just because they raised you, we're grown now. You gotta respect me as your child who's grown. You should have been respecting me as your child who was a minor. But now you gotta come full circle and learn how to respect me, or guess what? That 45-minute ride ain't gonna be 45 minutes no more. It's not gonna be a ride. I come when I want to come.
Hmm.
But I think it's all about protecting yourself. Like you could be kind, you could be nice to people, but you got to protect yourself first. Who you gonna be kind or you gonna be kind and nice to somebody you don't know or yourself?
Hmm. Myself,
You
of
gonna be
course.
kind and nice to a loved one or yourself? Like who are you picking? Who you gonna save?
Hmm.
And I'm always gonna save me because if I save myself, I know that I could save my other family members too. I'll be ready to get them. Like I tell
And
my kids all the time, like y'all 2A and 2B. Who number one, Dad? Me. The fuck out of here. It's me. It's always gonna be me. And I love y'all. But I love myself just as much.
hmm
And I think a lot of people always sacrifice themselves for other people, their children, their parents, their friends, their family, and it's like who taking care of me?
man, well, yeah, that had been a crux
Hmm.
on me, and it
It seems
literally,
like it, yeah.
literally, got me to another point, dealing with my parents and everything. So I ended up, like I said, I have a psychiatrist and a therapist.
Hmm.
So I get a little bit of drugs, a little bit of
Yes,
medication,
yes. Ain't nothing wrong with
and
that. Balance
there's
me out. Balance me out, doctor. Balance me.
nothing nothing wrong with that because I was at a
Yeah.
point, to where I did not know, I couldn't perceive, but I was ready to go.
I've been there.
I was
I've
ready
been
to go.
there. Yeah. Yeah.
And I did not know, it would come in ebbs and flows. I think one of the things that I have to be cognizant of, and a lot of people have this predicament when it's wintertime, that it,
Oh,
mm,
seasonal depression.
yeah, the seasonal depression. And
Hmm.
I think I had an older doctor. He said, "You're just sad. You have the winter blues." That's what he called it. Called it the winter blues. And he gave me something for it. And of course, like, okay, I'm okay. And I would stop taking it,
Mm,
which is always a no no.
yeah.
But at the time when I was ready to leave, I talked. I did talk to a friend, and trying to, at the time I was in between therapists going through that hopscotch, and it was just like, okay, this is just too much.
Hmm.
So I found um, this particular thing that's called TMS, and I'm going to show you a picture. So TMS is like, it's supposed to be like shock therapy, and it is basically giving you it's like magnetic brain waves.
Okay.
Um, and I did that. It's going on a year, and I meant to put a picture of a lady who was getting it done. I actually had a picture, took a picture of me in the garb, but the little machine there is like hovering over it, and it's like clicking. It's like a
Hmm.
click noise that you hear. And the first couple of times you get like a little bit of a headache, so they tell you to take some Advil or something like that. But it's going into those places as far as your neurons where those, I guess, um, where your depression or wherever that particular neuron or nubule or whatever that
Hmm.
is kind of breaking it. The synapses kind of breaking it up.
So the machine is actually targeting a spot in your brain that
Yes,
focuses on the
it's
depression or the
it's like
suicidal parts.
yes. So
Wow.
it's like it's hovering over your head. I hate to use this beer can, but
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
hovering
To
over
use
your
the
head. You
salt in the
have
line.
it has you have like this really tight cap, so you got to be fitted for this really tight cap. And he was like, yeah, you can't change your hair. I said, I'm sorry, I'm black.
You
I'm a
can't
black
change the
woman.
hair.
I'm a black
What?
woman in the 2000s. I'm gonna have braids, I'm gonna have crochet. I was like, I don't know, because it may not fit. That's why they were saying I can't change my
Yeah, I
hair.
know. I get why they said it, but they said that to a black lady, like
I
you
was like,
said.
oh,
Like
I said,
them hairstyles change.
and mine did. It didn't affect it too much, but
Okay.
um, and it's kind of revolutionary, kind of
Yeah, I've never heard of this before.
and they real proud. I looked at my insurance bill because it cost me. I went 3 times a week.
Okay.
It was maybe 10 minutes. It wasn't long. It was like in
Hmm.
and out. And every time I went, it was 250 for me
With the insurance.
with the insurance.
Now, how long you said you're still doing it? How long till you did
No,
you
no,
you
I
said you
stopped.
did it for a year?
I did it for a
Okay.
year.
Did you feel any difference? Did it work?
So at first I was like, because they kept on asking me, "Do you feel any different? Do you feel?" I was like, "Mm-mm, I still feel as cuckoo as Cocoa Puffs." I'm still like frustrated. But then I realized it was a gradual thing. I was
Okay.
numb. That was the best way I could put it. I was numb. I wasn't sad. I wasn't mad. I was indifferent.
Was it to the specific triggers or triggers of your trauma, or was it just numb and indifferent to everything?
Numb and indifference of everything.
Everything. Okay.
Everything.
So did you like that though? Because like the job of the experiment for you is to, in my mind, is to
Mhm.
take away that pain. But if it makes you numb to everything, is it the benefit? It was it beneficial for you?
I'm gonna say probably about 40% beneficial for me, because
40. Okay.
I was able to, because the outside world was still outside and it was still doing what it was doing. It was still
Hmm.
whirlwinding,
Yes.
but as far as
Yes.
how it was affecting me was different.
Okay.
So I was able to. along with therapy, putting those boundaries, because my mom would call me and tell me things, and I was like, I can't, I can't hear these things. I can't do this. It would, because she'll go on and be okay with it, and I'm sitting here twiddling my thumbs,
Right.
like,
Yeah.
what's going on?
Mm-hmm.
What's happening?
Mm-hmm.
So that made me indifferent to it. Would I first people? It would really depend on how severe things were.
Okay.
Um, but it was probably like a 30,000, somewhere like that.
Hmm.
It was somewhere like that. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
because after like 2 or 3 sessions, I was like, oh, my deductible is clear.
For the year.
I could go and do anything. I was like,
Right.
I had to go and get a mouth guard because I do snore, I hum, but at first he was like, oh yeah, this is gonna be 2,500. I said, no, I'm gonna be back, and it's gonna cost me
A
$11.
dollar. Yeah. She 18
I'll be
cent.
back. And
Yeah. Yeah.
I came back, and he was like, uh, I got this pocket change. You want this pocket
Mm-hmm.
change?
Mm-hmm. I got a little jingle in my pocket. It's all yours.
By the
Here's my
time
deductible.
the TMS, and I'm wondering, because they keep on sending me things they want to check on how I'm doing,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and or like, oh, do you need another session? And I don't want to say I don't want to be next say it's a trigger, but I was like, I want that. I don't want to do that again.
Okay.
And I was like, I want y'all to stop reaching out to me. I'm tired of y'all calling
Yeah,
me.
you got unsubscribe. You got unsubscribe. Take your name off the
I'm
list.
gonna have to figure out how to get to remove myself from that. But
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the experience, because it was so expensive. Of course, they were wonderful and nice to me because they were getting all this money,
Right.
and it was a lot of people in there getting these sessions, this 10-minute
And
sessions.
see, but that's a stigma too, because like you saying, people going walking in there and getting these 10 minute sessions with a deductible for $250. And I've been getting not intense therapy, but I've been going to therapy for 6 years now. I've never heard of that once. So it's just like what all these different things are available to us that we don't even know. And that
Mhm.
so like we don't have the options. We thinking, oh, we just gonna sit on the couch. Like, have you ever been in therapy and laid down on the couch? I haven't. You
Mm-mm.
know what I mean? Like that's not what people think it is. It's not what it is, and you're making a perfect example of that, saying showing the TMS and the electricity treatments and things like that. Like I've never heard of anything like that, and it seemed to help for us. For us, it helped in a way. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? It was a positive in a way, but it's something that you don't want to continue. But for the next person that doesn't know anything about it and can afford it, it's a great option. You know
right.
what I mean? So it's so many. I think why we're on here today is to let people know there's so many different options and so many different ways to
Hmm.
take care of your past traumas, of your future traumas, of your current issues that you're having, but you can't do it by yourself. You
You have
gotta,
to do it like
you
that.
yeah, and you can't do it with your best friend's not going to be able to help you. Even if your best friend's a therapist, they probably is a conflict of interest. You should
Right.
probably get someone you don't know. Yeah, you
Yeah.
should probably get a therapist that you don't know to help you out.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
anybody I could talk to, I want them to do it. Just talk, have 2 sessions. And I want to bring up this one point too before I forget.
Okay.
With my insurance company, if you have insurance, if you're blessed in this country to do have insurance, call your insurance company. With my particular insurance, they were able to they had a list of psychiatrists and psychologists that would help me for free for 6 sessions.
Hmm.
And if I like them, I could do the 6 sessions for free. I could call my insurance company back and I can get another 6 sessions. So I wouldn't have to even start paying my copay until the 13th session. If within the first 6 sessions I didn't like the therapist, I could go to another one and it wouldn't be anything but paying a new copay. and just transferring over to the new therapist. Now, all the therapists in the network, like you said, your therapist that you wanted wasn't in your network. There are certain therapists that aren't in that particular network of giving the free ones away. But I would say if you're thinking that the price is too much, if you think you don't want to pay the copay, if there's something money wise that's keeping you from doing it, if your insurance offers the free treatment, you get at least six for free from every therapist that's in the program. So you can go to six with this one and cancel, and then go to six with another therapist and either go keep with that one or cancel. And most copays these days ain't but $20. So 20
True.
bucks for your mental health once a month, once a week. Like invest in yourself that way. So
Yeah,
just
that's
just to let people know that
the EAP,
it is
and the,
that.
and it does vary because some places it's like 4, and then some places can be as high as 6. And
Yeah.
I can tell
But you
you,
can always extend it, even if it is four. On that third one before you go in there, you can always call your insurance company and tell them you're a little indifferent. You're not sure. You don't know if you had enough time to make a decision. Could you extend it? They may extend it one more session. They may extend it double, but you can always call and ask to get extended. The insurance companies say no all the time, but the worst thing that they could say to you is no, and you still had the 4 free sessions. You know what I mean? So don't free is good, and it's free is hard to come by in 2024. So if you can get anything for free, that's worth it. I think you should try it.
well, that reminds me, and we'll go out on this one. As far as insurance companies, I have Blue Cross Blue Shield, so both of my psychiatrists as well as my therapists are virtual,
Mine
and
too. Mine too.
they have basically, since it's within their network of Blue Cross Blue Shield, they have it's called Insight. They have an app and everything.
Yep. That's what I go through as well. Yep,
So
the
I
same
don't
one.
pay anything. I
Oh,
don't.
you don't. Okay, so I still have to pay my copay, but I haven't been into my therapist. The current therapist I've had her for a year and a half. It'll be 2 years and shit. No, it's been a year and a half. It's been a year and a half. We'll go with that. But I haven't been in her office once. It's always been in. I've been sitting in the parking lot of my job,
Yeah.
and just sitting there in
I'll
my car.
I'll sequester the conference room. I was like, this
Okay.
conference room is good
Yeah.
for an hour, and that's when I'll have
Yep.
my psychiatrist. I only get 15 minutes, but I would love to, like, if I knew where she was, I would go and sit. I would
You
go
sit
to
in
her
there.
office.
Yeah.
Yes, I would,
But
because we have such good
that's
conversation.
true. That's true. But Angie, that's another barrier that's broken down, and we're thankful. That's a thing that we could be thankful for COVID for. I don't know how many telecommunications people were actually really doing before COVID. I know it was available to do some therapy through the phone and through apps, but nowadays, because of COVID, it made it so much easier. And it's kind of tough. Like, you have a 45-minute session, but you may have to drive 45 minutes to get to the person's office.
Hmm.
That's 3 hours that you had to devote for 1 week of therapy, and you only did 45 minutes of it. Where now you literally just have to find a conference room, or you can sit in your car or in your home and just hit the app, hit play, and your therapist could be right there for you. So it's if you want some help, man, just get it. Just get it. Like,
Yeah.
reach out. Or even if you don't have insurance, like, there's programs and things out there where therapists want to help, and they do some pro bono work, and they'll give you a chance. Like,
Mhm.
there one thing, even the bad therapists that I've had, they always wanted to help. They just weren't good at helping me. But I wouldn't say that they weren't good at their job. I would just say that they weren't good at helping me at that particular time. But if your first therapist or your second therapist isn't good, your third therapist could be. Your fourth, your fifth one. I know people who've been going to therapy for 20 years and keep switching therapists. That's a problem that they have, but it also is what how they do therapy. So you find your way,
Mhm.
but just find your way. Like, I think that's what we're here for today, is just to make sure that people
Yeah,
that look like us aren't afraid to make that phone call.
yeah. It's not just thinking that there's something wrong with you, that you're crazy, that it's something that something broken, to talk to someone, to have another a listening ear that's not gonna this non-partisan, non-judgmental, that's going to give you some guidance, because they're not
Yes.
going to tell you what to do.
Oh no. Oh no.
They're just going to give you some guidance.
My therapist is like a auntie, and she'll just be like, mm-hmm, yeah, you think stuff like that. And you'd be like, oh yeah. Then the next then the next session you'd be like, I I did. I thought about that. And you were right. And she's like, I didn't even tell you. You talked it out. Like I found out some trauma. I have some daddy issues. And I found out like where some of the reasons why the way I am stem from like daddy issues. And my therapist taught me like trauma stems from years. Like you could remember the year you were. And I was like, yeah, 9, 13, 16, 18, 21. Those were 5 years in my life where it was just like this shit sucks. And I wish I had a therapist to help me out in those particular times, not even knowing. And as a man who believes in therapy and goes to therapy on a regular basis, I have 2 children, and both of my kids have been to therapy. They're not consistently in it now, but I just want them to know that when they're old enough, that that's an option. When they don't have their dad to talk to, if they can't call their mom or their best friend don't know what the hell's going on, that they do. Oh, I was in therapy when I was 11. Let me see what my insurance is talking about and see if I can get some therapy. Or let me call my dad and see if he could tell me what therapist I should be getting into and talking to. I just think that our generation of parents is a lot more helpful to our kids and getting them started younger. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's I think that's really important. And I'm glad that they were receptive to it, and that you
But it's not even that they're receptive to it, Angie. The difference is my mom, when I was 13, gave me a choice.
right.
Like me as a parent, I think this is good for you. You don't have a choice. You're gonna go ahead
Yeah,
and
at
you're
that
gonna go ahead
age.
and yeah, and then after you do it, you can come and talk to me and say, Daddy, I don't like that. That's not for me. And we could figure out something different. But if you come to me and say, Dad, that was kind of cool. Like I enjoyed getting an event to a lady who don't even know me and who ain't gonna tell you what I just told her. That was actually, I enjoyed that. Like it could be either way. But
Yeah,
no, you're only 11. My son was 11 when he first went. Like you're going because I told you to, and then we can have a conversation about whether you want to keep going or not. But that first session is on me to take you to make you go. And I love my mom to death. She's one of my favorite old ladies in the whole wide world. But I just wish that back on those 30 years ago that she would have just been like, nope, I'm dragging you in here. You're going to do this. But but we're here now, and we're in this moment, and we can control what we can control. So I'm controlling my 44-year-old self, and I'm doing the best that I can.
so do you feel that at this place that you are the best Lou that you can be at this point through therapy?
So far, yes. I think I have room to grow. I don't think I'm gonna keep growing until my last breath. That's a fact. But the strides that I've made since I first started really committing to going to therapy and helping myself, I don't recognize that person. Me and you met before I started going to therapy, and we've had conversations off air, and you see the difference, and we didn't even really know each other, but you could see just the slight. I remember our first conversation, and that man that I was then versus the guy who I'm talking to you as now is a different person. And I give as a my younger versions of myself always fight with this current version. My younger versions are still mad. They still have
Mm,
anger. They still have all this un unwavering anger. Like they just want to be angry. But it's the 44-year-old version of me, this age, is telling them shut the fuck up. Like I'm here and I got control of this. I'm the oldest version of me and I'm gonna control all the other versions of me to be the best version that we have right now.
that's awesome.
Yeah. I'm uh I'm very appreciative of you asking me to do this. And I hope that
Oh,
we got to I hope somebody's listening and we helped at least
I
one of
hope.
them.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. There are people that are out there that are listening right now, and they'll it'll be up for on the podcast on tomorrow as well.
Yes.
And I hope that, yes, I too hope that people are listening to us and knowing that it's okay
Mm-hmm.
and that better days are around the corner and you can get help. And, you know, I've had friends that have had therapy and they had therapy. They did what they needed to do, and they feel like been made whole,
Mm-hmm.
and they don't go to therapy anymore.
Yeah.
It could
Yeah.
be there's sometimes there can be an ending,
Mm-hmm.
um,
I think
but
like it's for everybody. Therapy's for everybody. Even the people that have their head on, they got good jobs, like the family and wife and the house, and everything's great. Just go for a check-in every 6 months. It's like everybody can benefit from it if you're willing to take a chance on it. And as African Americans, as Black people in America, we've been traumatized by more than just our families. We've been traumatized just by living and walking outside.
mhm,
And then on top of that, people who aren't black tell us that we don't need to go to do these things, and then we tell ourselves we don't need these things. We can cope by going to church and praying and doing. And yes, you can go to church and you can pray, but you can also have this as well. Like this is a good way to get your feelings out and get be heard. And a lot of black people in our community just want to be heard, and it's a good thing to be heard. If you're a child that you're listening to this and you're in high school, you have a guidance counselor, go. They'll help you. Even if they don't, find somebody who will. Like your assistant principal, the principal, somebody in that school will help you. In college, the same way. Most, like I said, the first therapy I had was free because I was in college. If you're going through some things and
I'm
you're in
certain.
college, yeah, talk to your talk to the mental health people at your college. Nowadays, it was kind of a stigma back when we and you were in college, so it
Hmm.
wasn't available. But now I'm sure they probably even have seminars and classes on how to get therapy for non-major classes, now major students. So go find what you can find and find the help if you need it. And if you think you don't need it, go find the help because you probably need it.
Yeah,
Color, find a hobby, do something you like, but your problem's always going to be there.
I
So,
love color.
oh man, I got this black coloring book. It got Martin and TLC
Oh,
and all these different people.
you
Yeah,
don't want to know what I'm coloring.
what you coloring?
Penises.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I thought I was special when I was like, I got black people that I'm coloring. She coloring dicks. They only black because you make them that way.
Hey,
And
for
on that note,
those who don't see, they color. For those who don't have, they color them.
oh my gosh, I don't even know if I want to see the colors that you be putting on these
No,
penises.
they're really really pretty. They're
So you
really
got all these, you have flush
they're,
colors.
no, they're mosaic kind of
Oh,
pattern.
so you got like a bunch of yellows and a bunch of blues,
Yes,
purples.
and purples and stuff.
Yeah,
That I have
yeah.
that, and I have a Prince coloring book too.
Dude, that's a nice one. Cheers to that. Now I can get down with the Prince coloring book. I can get down with that. I even got it. Look in the black coloring book. It's even remember Busta Rhymes and Janet Jackson. They in concert.
Yes.
That
Oh,
song.
I got tickets. No, well, I have
I
tickets.
got a I'll send you the page. I got a page that I need to color that has Busta Rhymes and Janet from that video back in the what was that,
Wow.
early 2000s, late 90s, whenever that came out.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a really good color. It's a really good coloring book. It's not as freaky as Angie's coloring book, but
Hey, hey,
you
hey.
know.
It's not freaky. It's just there.
But not to talk about your freakiness or whatever, but coloring is a very sorry. Coloring is a very good thing
It's
that
so
adults,
therapeutic.
yeah, like it's very therapeutic. And I think we forgot, like, as kids, how therapeutic it was. And like looking at I didn't start coloring until I saw my kids coloring. And I was like, what y'all doing? They were like, oh, we just coloring the coloring book. So, can I color with y'all? Sure. And they
Yeah.
left and gone. I done color like four pages. And they're like, Dad, can we do something else now? And I'm like, oh, you know what? I'll buy my own coloring books. But it was really cool to get into it, and never thought that it would be so freeing. Like
Yeah.
it's
I
so
love
like so
it.
yeah. And their Amazon and Temu and all those different websites got all these different coloring
There's a
books out.
beer one too.
There are. There are. I think there's a beer one that somebody in the culture, like in our community, actually. I don't want to
Mm,
say the name, and I can't look up the name, but I think there's somebody who actually has a black person who does a black beer coloring book. I have to
that would be
find
kind of
out.
cool to
Yeah,
make.
if I'm lying about that, then I'ma do it. So don't
Right.
nobody do it. Don't nobody
Oh
do
man,
it if it ain't
I
been
was
done.
about to do
We
it.
we could team up. We could team up. We could put both our names on it. We could put both our names on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, find a hobby. Find a hobby and talk to a therapist and control what you can control. I think that's the three basic keys to the day.
Yes. So Lou, tell us any upcoming events or your socials and how they can reach out to you.
My name is Lou Belgium, or I go by Lou Belgium. I'm on them Instagrams, so you can find me there. I am one third of a great podcast called Bruising Banner Podcast. We do a craft beer podcast once a week. We host all different types of people with the focus on craft beer and black people in our community. You could follow Yoda. You could follow Rob. You could follow the podcast at Bruising Banner Podcast. Buy some merch. We don't
Hmm.
have nothing coming down the pike. We doing some collaborations for Barrel and Flow, so we'll be there. We'll be locally pretty much everywhere every weekend in the summer because there's a lot going on in the tri-state area. We call Delaware, Pennsylvania, and New Jersey the tri-state area, but Maryland is in there. We go to Virginia a lot, so we around. We're around. If you see us, say hi. Download our podcast and listen to our podcast. And
So
download this podcast and listen to this podcast because I'm biased. My podcast is the best craft beer podcast in the world, but being black and craft is probably second. So
hey,
you know,
second is good.
yeah, second ain't bad.
Number one in my heart, but second is
Yes,
good.
as it should be, as it should be. But yeah, thanks again for having me on. I appreciate you, Angie. Really
Yeah.
do.
All right. Well, we went a little bit over, but this is amazing conversation,
Hmm.
and I'm gonna do our closing information, and I will see y'all next week.